you know, is this worth... I was going to say manning the barricades for. Is this worth personing the barricades for? This, seriously. I mean, yeah, look, here's the thing. Let me ask you this. You've had on YouTube a magnificent moment on the programme, whether you were agreed with or not. On this programme, you've had marriage proposals from it. You've had millions of hits, 4 million hits around the world.
Join the queue.
When you ridiculed religion on this show.
I didn't ridicule religion. I made a point about the fallacy of believing in things without evidence for doing so.
You're not so... You're sensitive about that, but you're sensitive about gender, but not so sensitive about religion. So you don't want to... You want to bend over backwards not to offend anyone about gender.
Well, no. Actually, I completely disagree with you there. It's not... I mean, I'm very firm about gender, and I'm a massive campaigner against gender discrimination, you know, all this kind of stuff. And I think one of the powerful things about gender-neutral language is that I can send in my CV and I can just put my initial at the top, and I haven't got to write Ms or Miss or Mrs or Mr on it, and I'm going to be not judged first on my gender,
well,
but I'm going to
MX.
be yeah, exactly, and I'm all for that. But there's two things here. Firstly, there is what actually should be a very small issue, which is, do we address people in the way they would like to be addressed? Now, you suggest that I'm massively disrespectful to religion, and let me be clear, I do not respect religion in that sense.
No, it is suggested. I don't suggest it.
But if somebody says to me, hello, I'm Reverend Jones, I call that person Reverend. Now, do I believe that that makes them genuinely anointed by God? It doesn't matter what I believe about that. That's what they want to be called, Reverend. And so I call them Reverend. And if somebody says to me, I want to be called they, or I want to be called Ms, or I don't, you know, I just want to be called Nikki, then I call them by what they want to be called, regardless of why that is.
Sarah. How well put. It's a matter of courtesy.
Yes. Courtesy is extremely important, and if people are in a dialogue with gender constructs, we have to respect where they're coming from. But we have to keep being allowed to ask other questions, such as, is there a relevance between personhood and biology? Am I going to start feeling that womanhood has been abolished in the way that I understand it, if I'm no longer allowed to refer to myself as she? Because, in fact, there's a kind of...
talking about you not being allowed to
hang on, Emma, she can refer to herself as she, right?
Yeah, the whole point of language to self-describe is that it should be fluid, it should be fair. This isn't everyone is now gender-neutral, we have robbed feminine or masculine identity, because I'm allowed to identify a way. It doesn't take anything from you. And if it does, that poses meaningful questions about the flimsy way gender is constructed.
You know, the French Revolution.
Maybe it isn't as firm or as biologically innate as we assume, and that it isn't at all.
Let me throw it. It's not like the French Revolution where they changed language or Pol Pot. This is actually a matter of choice, a matter of preference, isn't it?
Well, but there's something further behind in that, because when we all know that if you want to abuse people, you must first abuse the language, and the question is it an abuse of language, or is it a revelation of the complexity of the human person, or is it a closing down of an understanding of something that's profoundly important? Is there an importance to male and female, or not? And if we can't have that conversation still in a respectful way, we might be including the abolition of male and female as we understand them, which might have spiritual significance. Is the project, as someone referred to create neutrality, dangerous in some way? Now, if we can't ask that question without being shouted down, that's alarming. Are we dealing with the abolition of man and woman in a profound way? And I think maybe we are. I think what Kate says is very true. There's lots of useful things about not having to present as male and female in a job application, but something else very important is at stake in this debate.